So good evening, you amazing lot. Hope you are absolutely fine. I think I've said hello to most people who've joined, but if I haven't, hello. We've got Lucy joining us on Twitter as well. Lots of people join on Twitter. Thanks for joining us on Twitter. Been quite low on numbers on Twitter recently because everybody's come over to Facebook. If you are joining us on Twitter and you want to join us on Facebook at any time, facebook.com/actonthisTV. Come join the community. If you're watching for the first time, or you're listening for the first time, or you're listening to the podcast version of this that will go out a day after I do this live on iTunes and Stitcher, thank you so much for listening. My name is Ross. I run a website for actors called Act on This, the TV Actors Network. Ultimately, what I do is I sit down with very successful actors, agents, writers, producers, directors, everybody in the acting industry, TV and film particularly, sit them down and basically ask them how they've had the success they have had, and you can then emulate that, break it down, ultimately reverse engineer it so you can have similar success as well. Go to actonthis.tv to check out hundreds of hours worth of interviews on there with BAFTA winners, Oscar winners. I mean, there's so many people on there. And I've got a great podcast that I'm doing with a top Manchester agent tomorrow as well. We're going to talk about that on tonight's broadcast. What I've done, tonight's broadcast, you know what? I've just gone, let's just go like free and easy with it. It was going to be like a motivation of mind hacks broadcast where I would do a presentation on, something like positive psychology, something that's going to help you, ultimately like improve your life or career in one way or another, or both. But I thought, I've got so many little things I want to talk about. Sod it, let's just go free and easy. We'll all just have a nice chat and we'll just talk about quite a few things that are going on within the acting industry, within Acts on This, and you lot can get involved and ask your questions as well. So I'm just checking that sound and everything is coming through now. Jenna says, hello, my sound is fine. Claire's here, Claire Louise in the house. It was knackered, but it's fine now. So it looks like Facebook was having a little tantrum at the start, but it's all good now. Steve Connolly says, just want to say, had the best Acts on This meetup on Saturday at home. Got a lot sorted out. Cheers, Steve. And that was one that I wasn't at. So once a month, if you're in the Acts on This community, we do meetups, one in Manchester, one in London. In Manchester, we host one at Home Theatre. Great, brilliant, bloody massive theatre in Manchester. Awesome cafe space, great cake, great coffee. And we just take that over and we do like a networking event, basically. Actors come down, completely free to attend. You just got to buy yourself a coffee. And we just ultimately go through everyone's career. We ask you where you're at now, where you want to be within 30 days, and then how we can all help you achieve that thing you want to achieve within 30 days. They do the same thing in London at BFI on South Bank at the British Film Institute. That's where they hold it there at Benuga Bar. And Wendy in London even brings homemade cookies, so you don't need to buy your cookies if you go to the London one. Eugene, thanks for joining us. Here he is, Eugene in the house. Appreciate you being here, man, on Facebook. And Steve said, so he had an awesome meet-up at Home Theatre on Saturday, so do come and join us for those in the future. Sarah is joining us on Twitter as well. So what I want to talk about tonight, a few things, right? I did this Sky comedy this week called Brassic, this Joe Gilgan, Michelle Keegan comedy. Just did a day on it, not got a huge part in it, nice little part, very good fun. Talking to a lot of the cast members, and this is one of the first productions that I've been a part of where so many of the roles, not mine in particular, although it did start with a self-tape, but lots of the roles were cast purely off self-tapes, as in like there was no other audition. There was just a self-tape. So I wanted to tell you guys that. All right, James Byron in the house. Just to make sure that everybody's got the self-tape game down. Like, they know how to self-tape. They've got a place in their home that's suitable for a self-tape. You've got a camera or a decent camera phone that you can do a self-tape on. And whether you'd want me to maybe produce a feature on actonthis.tv on how to... I did one a while ago on how to do a self-tape on an iPhone, but maybe we just, we do a more up-to-date one. How to do a self-tape on, a entry-level like DSLR camera that's not going to cost you more than, 100 quid or something like that. Where are you at self-tape game-wise? Are you all on it or what? Because it's just becoming more and more freaking important now, I think. I had to do a self-tape for Brassic, and then that led to another casting that I went to in person, but I wouldn't have got that casting had I not done the initial self-tape. And luckily in the apartment that I've just moved into, I've got a great room that's just beautifully plain, so I can do self-tapes there. But in this office, I mean, look at the background that I'm against now. That's not going to be a great self-tape, is it? So give me some comments. Have you done a self-tape recently? Have you had success off self-tapes? Do you need help with self-tapes? Anything in particular, whether it's editing them once you've recorded it? Because again, that's something people struggle with. They're like, I can film a self-tape, no problem, but I haven't got a clue when it comes to editing it, putting my name on it, making it look presentable. Maybe you know how to film it, but you've not got your audio down, so your audio isn't very clear, etc. Let's have a look. A few people making comments now. What's going on? Leah says, that would be great, Ross. I went to Peter Hunt, didn't it? Was great. Yeah, Peter Hunt, casting director from Hollyoaks. Awesome guy. I have to use my phone in my living room. Don't get lots of self-tapes, says Steve Goodwaney. But I think it's just going to increase more and more, Steve. I just think it's becoming so normal here. It's been so normal in the States for a long time. Lots of stuff just gets cast, and internationally just gets cast from self-tapes. There's been quite a few. Speaking to, I think it was Dan Hubbard, the casting director, on an interview I did with him on That's on This a while ago, and he was saying that he'd cast people for big international films. They weren't huge roles, but they were decent roles, and they'd been cast directly from self-tapes as well. So it's just becoming more and more of a thing here in the UK industry. Gary says, always ask. So Gary's a writer, and he always asks for a self-tape first. So there you go, Gary. James says, I do nearly 80% of auditions by self-tape. Wow. So that's a lot. Haven't had a face-to-face initial casting for 6 months, all self-tape, says Steve Conley. I'm constantly doing self-tapes television, says Leah. Wish I was constantly doing bloody self-tapes television. Eugene says, we'll be up to see you soon, buddy. Coffee's on me. Eugene, legend. If you watched Age Before Beauty, BBC One, that drama I was in, aired a few weeks ago. Eugene, you would have seen him in that. Go watch it. Go check out Age Before Beauty. It might not even be on iPlayer anymore, unfortunately. You can probably buy it on DVD now at some point. But yeah, go check it out. Eugene, built like a brick toilet, absolutely massive, bigger, far bigger guns than me. Alex Hewitt in the house. All right, Alex. And Bobby says, what, Dacre Montgomery? Am I saying that name right? This is why I'm shit with names. Got cast in Stranger Things from a self-tape. Yes, I know exactly actually what you mean because I've seen this story. Yeah, absolutely. So that's the first thing I want to talk about, self-tapes. If you want me to do I'm a geek with kit. If you want me to do a tutorial on self-tapes for everyone that's in this community, I'll do that for you, not a problem. I can't seem to get the camera angle right, says Dawn. Okay, Dawn, that's an interesting one. Have you got a tripod, or are you balancing it on tables and books and shit like that? That's what a lot of people do. Well, I think what people need to get their head around, and I get it, all right, Alex, I get it that people are afraid of investing money in kit because they're like, oh, well, what if I'm only going to get one self-tape a year or two self-tapes a year, and I've just basically spent, £100 on a camera, £40 on a tripod, £20 on a memory card. So you might, put 200 quid into something. You've got to realise that even if you do get one self-tape a year that costs you 200 quid, any job in TV is going to pay you multiples of that £200. Even if you got one line on like the cheapest paying show on TV, I don't know, you got one line on one of the serial dramas, you're still going to get 600 quid or something like that. You'll still get some decent money. You've got to just put in some investment in the first place. And I've been at situations in my life so many times, I spoke about this on lots of these broadcasts, where I've been at a crossroads and I've had an option to invest heavily in kit for my business as well, not just my acting career, but Act on This, the setup you see in front of you right now, these microphones, everything that's going on here. And I've had like a choice, do I invest in myself and this kit because I believe that I'm good enough to get a return on it, or do I say, no, I'm not going to invest in the kit through fear, mostly? And is that, that to me is the equivalent of walking into a bookies, a betting shop, and just betting against myself. So if I'm going to put £200 down on a camera, then that's equivalent of, if I bottle that, it's equivalent of me going into a bookies and just going, I'm just going to put £200 on me to lose, please. You've got to believe that ultimately you're going to have the success you're telling me you want to have. Otherwise, you're never going to invest in anything. And it all, we know it all starts with belief. If you can just freaking believe. People struggle with this, like a lot. And I've struggled with this in the past, to actually really genuinely believe I have absolutely what it takes to work at the very upper echelons of this industry and just, the upper echelons of life. So many of us feel we just, for whatever reason, aren't that one who will do that, and everyone else around us will do that, but it's not for us for whatever reason. And until you give yourself permission to believe you won't invest in anything in your life because you'll be like, well, it's pointless because I'm not going to make it anyway. I'm never going to make that 200 quid back for that self-tape shit because I'm never going to get a self-tape that I get. You know what? Invest in it. You might get the self-tape that, you know, pays you back way more than that 200 quid and changes your life. And I've seen it happen for many people. Let's have a look. What are you saying here, Bobby? Talking about shirtless stuff. I don't know what I'm missing here in the comments. James says, I do mine on a camcorder and then put it through Nero, which is good for editing self-tapes. Yep, Nero's, you know, piece of software for PC. You can edit on, absolutely. So Jenna, yeah, self-tape, Jenna, is where... So Jenna's new to the industry. So self-tape, basically, rather than you going in for an audition face-to-face with the casting director, a casting director initially might send you one scene to do a self-tape where you will film yourself in an audition setting, but at home. So it's great, really, because you get as many takes as you want. I love doing self-tapes because you're not just going to send them the first take that you do. You know, I think for Brassic, that role that I just got in that Sky comedy, probably did about 6 takes. I think I sent them probably take 4 or 5. You know, it's towards the end. They were getting better each time. I think you'll find, you know, the one before last is probably the one that you end up sending. The one that you do last is like, for me, is always, let's just try it this way and see if it works. Most of the time, it doesn't. It's like, actually, that was worth trying just to prove that it wasn't going to work. But so we know that, you know, that 5th take is probably the one that, you know, that I want to send. But it's great. No pressure. No pressure at all. Just get a friend in who's patient, who will sit with you, read the other lines in. Who isn't just going to, you know, get bored. That's the thing. Don't get people in who are going to get bored after 2 reads and just be like, oh, come on, hurry up, you know, who don't get it. You know, they've really got to want you to nail it as much as you want to nail it. But yeah, you would film it yourself, Jenna, and then you would send that to the casting director. Sometimes you will get offered the role off that alone. Other times you will then be asked in by the casting director. It's almost like stage 1 is complete. You've passed that, going for a recall. You'll sometimes be offered the role from that, or there might even be, you know, a second recall screen test, depending on how big the role is, etc. But it is where you film yourself, Jenna, and it's getting more and more common in the industry. What I struggle with is when you get a few pages of dialogue and have to get the self-tape that day. Difficult to learn the lines and find a reader. I like to sleep on the lines. Yeah, that's hardly it. What you can do there is, so I've had that occasionally, and you can be clever with framing. So obviously you've got the scripts, so you can see it either somewhere near the camera if it's not too far away from you, although my eyes aren't too great for that. You can have it on your knee, have it on the floor in front of you. If you frame it cleverly enough, they don't have a clue where the script is and they're not in the room, so you can bypass that in certain ways like that. Other ways, yeah, in terms of not having someone to read in for you, get something like Line Learner, the app. I use Line Learner whenever I'm doing in-person castings anyway. I just think it's brilliant. It's so good. You record everybody's lines in Line Learner, and then you can play either everyone's lines back or just theirs or just yours. So what I do is I get it in my ears on the way to a casting, and I'll have it on repeat. I might go through it 20, 30 times on repeat, and it's just their lines, as in the other people's lines in the scene, not mine. And I'm just saying my lines in as I'm going to that casting, because there's nothing worse than learning it in your head and then hearing those words for the first time said by someone else in an audition. It throws me every time. I just don't give my best performance because I'm like, oh, wow, this is new. Not heard those words before, and they might have said them differently, or the gaps weren't quite the same, where, you know, visually I saw the words in my head when I've just learnt it visually. When you can hear it, it's like you just forget it. You just know your cues. Your cues are just there, bang, 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 because you've heard them 20 or 30 times as you're going in. I love it. Line Learner. I don't even know how much it is, but I'm sure it was about $5 when I bought it. Get it on the App Store. And then what you could do in a self-tape is you could put your iPhone next to the camera. It's not ideal, but if you're desperate, you can do this, and you can just get Line Learner to read back the lines to you. And it will all be in time because you've recorded all the lines like in real time. So it's not like there's going to be like awkward gaps or stuff like that, you know, where it reads a line and then waits. It's down to you how you record it. Like, you've got to record it properly as if you were acting both parts out. But it works really, really well. So Line Learner's a good one, Leah, if you're struggling with that. Wendy Walker. We were talking about you before, Wendy, baking your cookies for the London meetups. Thanks for joining us tonight. Shameless plug, says Bobby, but I literally just put a video up on self-tapes in the group. You did, Bobby, and I haven't watched this one. I've watched your other ones. Bobby's done some really useful videos on self-taping. That's in the Facebook group, the Act on This Facebook group. So if you go to facebook.com/groups/Act on This TV, join the group if you've not joined it. It's nearly 10,000 actors in there. It's the most supportive group on the internet, full stop. I have absolutely no tolerance for negativity in that group. Anything that's negative or just anyone who's been a dick, basically, just gets banned instantly. There's no need for it. Let's focus on positivity and focus on what we have got, as opposed to complaining about the industry, because those people, they love to complain, and that's all they're going to do for the rest of their careers. I normally record the other lines separate, then add them in later on my computer when I can't find a reader. Interesting, James. So he does all the other lines in post? Absolutely, mate. Yeah, if you know what you're doing, you could definitely do that. And Leah says it's hard to get natural reactions without a reader. It is, but name it a game, Leah. That's it. You've got to remember as well, though, this is the thing that's quite nice to remember. Everyone else is against that as well. So if you get the scripts on one day and you are struggling, everyone else has got the script that day and is probably struggling. So as long as you can just do a little bit more than everyone else, you're going to at least get in the room. I think when it's that late in the day, they're probably doing their self-tape just to pre-qualify people they actually end up inviting in. So just realize everyone's going through that. So if you can hold it together, and you can be like, right, I understand I'm not going to maybe get the best natural reactions that I could get if I had someone there. Don't focus on that. Just focus on going, actually, you know what? I'm going to do absolutely the best job I can do in this time that I've got, because every other person who's been given this task today is shitting it as well. So if I can just trust myself that I'm going to be able to handle it, I'm probably going to do a better job than the other 4 or 5 people who have been given the same task. You just got to deal with it. Alex says, I usually record the other lines and use that to talk back to, but it's obviously not as good since reading to no one is quite difficult. It is, again, just the name of the game, though, man. Definitely. I love Line Learner, says Claire Louise. It's brilliant. It is, Claire, honestly, it's wicked. Really, really good. That's perfect. I'll get that, says Jenna. Yeah, get it. I should be on commission for Line Learner. Steve said, use Line Learner for theatre and face-to-face castings. Use my wife for self-tape. She's very good. I should rent her out. Okay, Steve, yeah. Well, you know what, mate? If that's your side hustle, it's all legit and above board. That's fine. Yeah, I use Line Learner too. Love it, says Leah. Anna Marie's in the house. How are you doing? Leah says, never thought about that. That's great. What about everyone else having the struggle as well? And Manuel Puro does do a great 21-day self-tape challenge that Amy said there. Manuel Puro. Manuel Puro. Those listening on the audio experience, Manuel Puro. I think it's pretty cheap. He basically does a 21-day self-tape challenge where you get a script that day. You record it as a self-tape, you upload it to the group that you become a part of, and then everyone critiques it, and it's very, very supportive, and it is pretty cheap. I know a lot of people have done that and have really enjoyed it. It just makes you do it. You can't overthink it because you've got to get it done that day. You know, you can't bullshit yourself and procrastinate. You just got to get it done. So if you want to throw yourself in at the deep end, do that course. Wendy says we had a great meetup on Saturday in London. Thank you, Wendy, for baking the cookies and taking them along. Claire says Line Learner do another program called Audition Pro that plays the lines from the learner and records a self-tape all on your phone. Holy shit, I didn't know about that. So there you go. Audition Pro. I will look that up as well. Thanks for letting us know, Claire. Not aware of that at all. Do check that out as well. And there you go. That's all those comments. Apologies if I missed any comments on Twitter. So that's self-tapes, right? Any other comments, whack them in, and we'll continue the chat tonight. I want to move on to another topic. Although James says now, I do have a problem with the full body shot, the up and down, and then static. Was wondering if anyone else had this. What's that, James? In terms of what? On a particular app you struggle with that? Or you're talking about you just have a problem actually filming it? Because obviously, unless you've got a camera operator. I have a problem with the full body shot, the up and down, and then static. Was wondering if anyone else had this. Because that would apply to commercial castings. I've never been asked to do a full body for a drama or anything, mate. but maybe you have. I'm not saying, I'm sure that happens at times when people want to see people's build and height and stuff. If you're doing that on your own, yeah, you'd have to just do that in the edit, wouldn't you? You'd have to film it all and then just cut those shots. Or you could digitally zoom in the edit. Don't know how you do that on your own without somebody there with you. But yeah, I've never been asked to do that. Or show hands or anything like that. It's very, much for a commercial casting, etc. Keep the comments coming in. I put a video out today, literally at 5 o'clock. I just want to talk very briefly about it because I want you to go and watch it after this, okay? It was a video. I put a video out last week, actually, on rejection. It did very, very well. It got shared about 50 times. It was all about famous people who had made it massive. People like Madonna, J.K. Rowling, John Cleese, huge names who had made it after massive rejection. I mean, like Walt Disney, Thomas Edison. I mean, there's so many massive, massive names. Steve Jobs. Huge names who've gone through rejection and still made it. I put that out as a bit of motivation, encouragement. And it got really, really good, feedback from everybody. So I thought, what, I'm going to do another video this week on a similar kind of topic that everybody goes through as actors, and it's getting out of a rut. I had 3 emails over the weekend from people saying, I just feel like I'm fucking stuck in a rut. Like, I've not had, I don't feel my career has progressed. My career is no further along, basically, in 2018, in October 2018 than it was in October 2017. That's what they were saying. And they were just like, I'm just stuck in a massive rut, don't know what to do. I was like, all right, Lee, how are we doing? I'm going to do a video on this, and I put it out today, and ultimately, it's only like a 5-minute video, but the crux of it is, please go and watch it, and it's on the Acts on This Facebook page, and please, it would mean the world if you shared it, right? I just want to try and have as much positive impact with this video as I can. The crux of it is, and I still want you to go and watch it, but I'll tell you a summary, is that a lot of people think for them to like explode their acting career or explode an area of their life, completely, dominate their physicality, improve their relationship, earn more money, all these kind of things, that they've got to make massive, massive, massive changes in their life. They're like, right, that's it. I want to get in shape. So that's it. I'm going to basically go out and spend loads of money on gym kit. I'm going to spend £1,000 on a personal trainer. I'm going to stop eating all the food that I like literally right now. That's all out the window. I'm going to drink green smoothies every single day. I'm going to get up at 6 o'clock. And what they do, they try and change like everything about their life. And all that does is just flood them with overwhelm, huge amounts of overwhelm. And they can keep it up for 3-4 days, maybe 10 days max, and they end up literally burning out and breaking down. I've seen it, literally emotionally exhausted, crying their eyes out, going, I can't believe I can't do it. I'm useless. What's wrong with me? And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with you. It's because they're trying to change so much at once. And I use an analogy in this video of a farmer and a tractor. I'm not going to tell you about it now because I want you to go and watch the video. And ultimately, the smallest change in your life can have massive, massive impact if it's a conscious, specific change. And in your acting career, it applies as well. Not just your physicality, right? But you've got to start with making a small 5-degree shift, I say in this video. So you're not like doing a whole 180 and turning around and walking in another direction. You're just finding something that's going to have a positive impact on your life to get you out of this rut and get some momentum going. So if you're an actor, it can be something as easy as going, you know what, I've not had my headshots done in 18 months. I'm going to change my headshots, not for the sake of changing them. I'm going to look at what they're like now, look at what might not be good about them, how I can improve them. Don't just go, I'm going to go get my headshots done without thinking about it and going, well, I'm going to end up with exactly the same shots as I had last time. Think about it. You might want to change your look up. You might want to change your clothes, take multiple clothing, do something that in natural light inside, do something natural light outside. Go for different emotions, etc. It could be not changing your entire show reel, because a lot of people are like, right, fuck it, it's not working, we're just going to trash it, I'm going to scrap the whole thing, I'm going to go and get it shot again, or I'm going to give up. It might just be, you know what, you need to just change the order of the first scene on your reel. You need to open your reel with something completely different, or the scene that was at the end, for whatever reason, maybe would that make a good opening scene? Is it strong enough? I mean, ultimately, you've got to have your best stuff up front, but maybe your best stuff isn't up front anymore. And, you're stuck in this rut, you can't get any castings, and you've got this other piece of footage you haven't even included on your reel because you can't be asked, or you've got some limiting belief in your head that the 50 quid you have to spend getting an editor to edit in isn't worth it because you're not getting any auditions at the moment, even though it might be the reason you're not getting auditions. So just have a think in your life right now, and this applies to all areas of your life, not just your acting career. what's the one thing you could change? And you've got to choose this like this week, the latest by this time tomorrow. You've got 24 hours to think of this thing. What can you either take away or introduce to your life that's going to just be that 5-degree shift, but if you stick with it long enough, will take you on that 5 degrees, for a long time. It means you're going to end up in a much, way different destination than you would have done had you not made that 5-degree shift. James says that he watched it and he shaved his goatee off. There you go. Shaved my goatee off. Thought I'd give that look a go. There you go, James. See? Do you know what? Just a tiny 5-degree shift to the right, mate. You don't know what destination you're going to end up in with a different look. Get some headshots done without the goatee. Put them out there. See what reaction you get. But the point of this is, don't get all down on yourselves if shit isn't working right now and think that everything's broken. Because it's not. What we want to do as human beings through negativity bias, this bias we're all born with, your brain isn't broken. It's working like this, like to protect you. It's supposed to do this. It's going to make you focus on everything that's not working. And you're going to think, right, that's it then. The whole fucking thing's broke. Can't be bothered with it anymore. I'm useless. I'm never going to make it. Everyone else around me is obviously way more talented and better looking than me and just better than me in every way. And it isn't that. You might just need to change up one thing, and the one thing could be, I don't know, the one thing could be something relatively big, like, right, I have now had enough, I'm changing agents, and not because you're just bitter about it or anything like that, but maybe, a relationship isn't working with an agent, or you might not have a decent relationship with your agent. So it's not the fact that your agent isn't, putting you forward for work. It's the fact that they don't know exactly what you want and you've not communicated with them exactly what you want. You're not working as a team and you're like, you know what? The 5-degree shift to the right for me is just getting on the blower with my agent and just booking a coffee in with them. Just go to sit with them for 20 minutes. It's just going to get you out of that rut, give you some more motivation and put you on the same page as the person who you're working integrally with to get you a career. Because it's scary when you're relying on, you have a reliance, not a whole reliance, but, a certain degree of reliance on other people to get you work. So for you, it might be right. You know what? My 5-degree shift to the right isn't shaving my goatee like James. It's getting on the phone this week and talking to my agent, because I haven't spoken. I'm complaining about them to all my actor friends, but I haven't even spoken to them myself for 6 months. Well, if in that case, that's your fault. Take responsibility for that, because it means the control is going to be back in your hands. That's an empowering thing to do. It's not negative that, when you take responsibility and go, yeah, you know what, it's my fault I'm not working. That means actually it's empowering because you can do something about it. So yeah, that's good. Alex says, do you know when the next Showreel Surgery will be, Ross? So Showreel Surgery is an event I run with Chris Stone, award-winning director Chris Stone. He's also the country's, absolutely 100% the country's best by far showreel producer. He was just in New York last week. That's why we didn't do a Showreel Surgery live for Showreel Share Day. So we will do, what we do is we do a live Showreel Surgery where Chris is sat next to me right now and we play people's showreels out and Chris critiques them very positively. And it's just for that, the order. Go, you know what, maybe this reel isn't getting you in the door because the order just isn't right. And Chris uses a great analogy. He says, listen, if you take all the words in a sentence and you have all of them, but you put them in the wrong order, it doesn't make sense. You still have all the words, but when they're in the wrong order, they don't make any sense. And your showreel is exactly the same. You can have all the pieces of it that make up a showreel, but if they're not in the right order, it's not going to be effective at getting you in the room. So it might not be that, your whole showreel's broken, because that's very unlikely. It's just the fact that, you know what, maybe you just haven't put these scenes together properly. So the next one, Alex, I'll speak to Chris this week. The next one we'll do pretty soon, mate. Now Chris is back. He came back last night. So we'll do one of those soon, I'm sure. Jenna says, one day I can film myself, put myself into a character, give myself a character. Do I send it to someone? So it would be, so for the self-tapes, Jenna, they would be, requested from a casting director, but there's nothing stopping you doing self-tapes for yourself and putting them out on social media and stuff like that, just to showcase, what you're doing and how you're improving as an actress. I got my agent that I'm with right now off, not self-tapes, but they might as well have been. They were just classes. They were scenes that I'd recorded in an acting class. They weren't glossy showreel scenes. I just needed to show my agent I could act. So self-tapes are very useful for that. If you just got a scene that you're nailing, and not a monologue, screw monologues if you want to work in TV. Get some reactions in there. Have someone read in another part for you. But they don't have to be super glossy. To get an agent, you wouldn't send those things to a casting director. But to get with an agent, yeah, if you're like, you know what, I've absolutely nailed this scene, let's just shoot it in a self-tape kind of style, because an agent wants to see what you're like in an audition setting. So a self-tape is very much an audition setting. I don't think any agent in the country would have a problem with watching you, filming a self-tape type thing to show them what you can do. I mean, that's what they would want you to do, or want to see, surely. So you could do that, Jenna, 100%. Melissa, good evening. How are you doing? Says small changes, steps for easy wins to motivate you to keep going. Yeah, absolutely. Easy wins from the day you wake up. Well, from the minute you wake up. Literally, I can't go and clean my teeth until I've made my bed. And it's not because I'm just weird and OCD, but it's just like, right, there you go. It's a tiny, tiny win. Now I'm going to go make my bed. I mean, no, clean my teeth. I made my bed. Now I'm going to go and clean my teeth. Yeah, it does motivate. It's just like, right, the day's begun. Let's go. Can't leave the room when the bed's messy because I just feel like I've not started the day properly. My agent is amazing, says Leah. There you go, Leah. Well, you're with a good one. I can talk to him about anything. Say hi to him tomorrow for me. Oh, you with Guy? I didn't know you were with Guy, Leah. There you go. Yeah, Guy's top bloke. So Guy Howe is the guy I'm interviewing tomorrow. He runs WGM Talent, who Eugene is coincidentally with, who's on here tonight as well. Leah's with Guy as well. I'm doing a really honest, open podcast with Guy tomorrow. If you want me to ask him any questions about agencies, being an agent, like the stuff that you might be too afraid to ask, because I'll ask anything. That's what the whole point of these podcasts are. They're really open, honest, frank, blunt discussions about the industry. Every chat you hear me have on actsonthis.tv, there's hundreds of hours worth on there now. They're all really open. So if you've got questions, ask me them now. Leave them in the comments. I put a post in the Facebook group tonight. You could, just comment underneath that, and I'll get those questions asked tomorrow. I'll talk about that in a second. So James says, is it okay to swear in a showreel? I think it's absolutely fine, James. I wouldn't open a scene up with loads of swearing, to be honest. Open a showreel. And for me, it's about how good the writing is. If it's off TV and you're swearing, totally fine, because it's been commissioned. It's obviously good enough to be on TV, BBC, ITV, whatever. If it's a short film and the writer's been a bit lazy and just wants to swear for effect because they can't think of how to up the drama in any other way, I don't like that personally. It's very personal though. That's sort of just what I like. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, you could have done that whole scene you did there without swearing and it would have had just as much impact. I don't like it. I think some writers can get lazy and they don't know what to do with the characters, so they just go, right, they're just going to make them smoke then. Hate that as well. Hate it. Swearing and smoking for no reason. Doesn't add anything to the scene. Doesn't never mentioned. I'm just like, why are you doing it? It's pointless. It's just fucking lazy. I just swore. There you go. It's just very lazy. Yes, I should take a leaf out of my own book. No swearing on these broadcasts from now on. I don't mind that word. There's some words that I really despise, though. There's one swear word in particular I have never said and will never say, and I just see people throwing it around the internet. I'm like, ugh, it's pretty offensive. I don't even know why it is. Again, it's just me being personal. So for some people, James, they might not be bothered at all. But for me, yeah, I wouldn't open a reel with swearing. But if it's in there, in the middle, and it's warranted, and it's it's well shot, and all the other things that go into a show reel are there, don't think it's a problem at all, mate. Lynn, it's our Alan Partridge, he says. Great show. Thank you very much, Lynn. Yes, I do an Alan Partridge. I'd love to be in the new Alan Partridge. He's doing a new series, but I don't know how I need to get in it. If it fits the scene, says Bobby, keep it in, but avoid the C word, because that's a bad word. That's the word I was talking about, Bobby. I've never said it, will never say it. Ironically, I'm OCD and can't make my bed, says Bobby. Brilliant. So yeah, swear if you wanted, James, but only if it's warranted. So yeah, podcast with Guy tomorrow. I'm filming my vlog again tomorrow as well. Watch Ross. I'm going to do an episode of the vlog. You can find that on youtube.com/Watch Ross. You'll see behind the scenes of this interview, behind the scenes with Guy, and I'm going to have an exclusive chat on the vlog with him. It won't be long. It'll only be 5 minutes. The podcast will probably be an hour or maybe slightly over an hour, and we're going to go into depths of everything. I'm going to ask him all the questions I know most actors want to know. The simple things like, look, what would I have to do right now for you to sign me on the spot? All those kind of questions. I'm going to ask Guy if he was an actor with no representation. right now, what would he do? The exact steps. What would the exact steps be that he would do right now over the next 30 days to get himself representation? Because if there's one person who's going to know, it's an agent, isn't it? So yeah, I'm going to ask him just really, really open, honest questions and stuff about his life as well. I like to get to know the guests, know what makes them tick, what makes them human. We'll find out what has influenced them in the industry, what's inspired them in the industry, what they like, what they hate, everything in between. But if you've got a specific question, you're like, you know what, I'd love to sit down and ask that an agent, because maybe you're struggling to get representation, or there's the whole how do I leave my agent thing, isn't there? No one likes asking that question. I'll cover that with him. How do you amicably part ways with an agent without feeling like you're breaking up with your girlfriend or boyfriend? I'm going to ask everything like that. But if you want to know something specifically, leave it in the comments. Ask me on Twitter right now. Or send me a tweet, actually, because I might miss the comment on Twitter right now because they fade away. Just tweet at ActOnThisTV, and I'll make sure that I ask Guy that tomorrow. Alex says, which word? We've covered which word I don't like, Alex. And Lynn said, I should be an Alan Partridge. Absolutely. Definitely. For Guy, James wants to know what impresses him to want to look at an actor. Definitely covering that, James. 100%. I want to cover with Guy the prerequisites for him to even take a look at someone. What they have to be. Does every actor, regardless of whether they're brand new or not, do they have to be on Spotlight? What do they want? Do they have to have a show reel right now? What does he want from that? Headshots, professional training, knowledge of the industry, whether they've been in shit already, lots of things. Because Guy's definitely, there's 5 or 6 like top Manchester agents, really decent northern agents outside of London. I'd definitely put Guy in that segment. He's passionate and he likes fighting for his actors, I think. My agent Jane, legend. She does as well. She's like passionate as hell. I wouldn't want to mess with Jane ever. But Guy will fight as well, and he'll also pay out. I've seen him pay out of his own pocket to bring in casting directors and stuff to do generals with his actors. Not charge his actors for those and stuff like that. He just seems to go the extra mile because he really loves the industry. So I just think he's a great podcast guest to have on. Definitely ask him that, James. Melissa said, looking forward to that. It's going to be on actonthis.tv for all premium members on Friday or thereabouts. If you're not a premium member, go to actonthis.tv. Just get your freaking membership. You've got no excuse. It's £10 a month, or if you pay up front for a year, it's £7.50 a month. I promise you, I bet every single person on here spends more than that on coffee a month. I know I do in probably 2 days, because a coffee at Costa is £3.55 for a almond milk latte with coconut milk latte with caramel syrup. It's £3.55. 2 of those would basically pretty much pay for my Acts on This membership. So don't give me any bullshit. You can't afford it. You're just spending money on the wrong things. Not being brutal, just telling the truth. Claire says, currently looking for an agent, so really looking forward to the podcast with Guy. Claire, honestly, seriously, it's going to be a good one. And there's already a podcast with my own agent, Jane Hollywood. And I would put Jane Hollywood absolutely, well, wouldn't be with her otherwise, absolutely in the very top, ranks of Manchester agents. Been around a long, long time. Just you don't get much better outside of London, to be honest. With Jane, in terms of the contacts that she's got, she's just incredible and just a brilliant woman as well. Very, very supportive. Total ball breaker when it comes to contracts. Definitely gets me more money than I would be able to get myself. She's awesome, powerhouse. But there's a podcast with Jane on actonthis.tv. That's my point. Right now, you can go and listen to that. You can listen to a preview in the What's New section on actonthis.tv as well. See if you like it. If you like it, you can upgrade to premium and get the full, you get access to tens of hours worth of further interviews with so many people in the industry. But yeah, go check it out, actonthis.tv. But the new one with Guy will be up on Friday, I hope. Definitely. Alex says, Claire, Sterling Management books are open at the moment. Well, that's an interesting comment there, Alex, because I talked to all agents about books being open and stuff, and that's something that we use all the time as actors, don't we? All your books open. I promise you, right? Don't get in this limiting belief factory of thinking that an agent's books are ever closed, because to the right person, to the most talented person, an agent's books are never closed. They're just not. It's like going, I'm so sorry, you know what, you're so talented, and I know I could make loads of money out of you, and there's a show actually casting at the moment that I'm pretty certain I could get you seen for, and I'm pretty sure you'd nail it and get the part. So we'd both earn loads of money. But actually, it's just a real shame that my books aren't open until February. Just never going to happen. An agent's books are never, ever closed. There will be times of the year when an agent is actively putting out messages to people going, I am looking for more actors. I want to recruit more actors. Because maybe they've lost a few have left, or they're looking for a particular type to add to the books. But yeah, don't get hung up on thinking books are open and closed. Approach every agent as if their books are open 100%. Definitely, all the time. Gary says, heard the voiceover podcast was great. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, did a podcast just last week or the week before with my voiceover agent. The voiceover gallery, the agency completely responsible in the voiceover world for changing my life, and I really mean that. It sounds like a massive statement, but oh my word, like it absolutely changed my life in terms of finances and just what that leads to. Regular work from those guys. I was able to leave my shitty job in retail, invest in businesses. I won't be doing this broadcast right now had I not got into voiceover. I can promise you that. I did a really open, honest chat with my voiceover agent, the head of talent management at the voiceover gallery, Hannah Ralph. Awesome girl. Go listen to that as well. That's on this.tv as well. Basically, everyone who's in my life, I just rope them into doing a podcast with me. But any success that I've had, ultimately, again, that's the whole point of the site. I just bring the people on who've helped me have that, and we just tell you how we did it. That's caring. Sharing is caring, isn't it? Since when do you go to Costa, Ross? All the time, Alex. Since Starbucks have changed their like insides, they've made it. It's also. Has anyone noticed this? This is well off topic, but Starbucks, they've gone like really cold and clinical in all of their stores. They've taken out all the big armchairs, all of the homely stuff, and it's all like black benches and bright white lighting in the fridges. It's awful. And maybe they've done it because they want you to just go in, drink and get out, and we're sick of people going in and setting up base for the day and taking the laptop in and using the internet all day and getting free coffee refills or whatever. But that's what Starbucks was for me. It's like a place to go and relax and work or just chill. Now it just feels stark and cold. Whereas Costa, although they've been bought by Coca-Cola recently, so I don't know if it's going to change, Costa still have that homely feel. Although the Costa near me, don't think the managers like me because they caught me the other day. Well, it caught me. I won't do anything wrong. Technically, it might have been wrong. Caught me throwing a cardboard box away into the skip around the back of Costa because my apartment is above some commercial units, and they were kicking off saying the skip was theirs and that I should use my own bins. And I'm like, it's quite exceptional circumstances right now. I'm having a lot of furniture delivered. If I want to throw this one box into your skip, let me do it. They were kicking off. I mean, like, proper. I thought they were joking at first, but she actually, like, really meant it. I was like, come on, if this is actually what you're complaining about in your life, like, you've got problems, girl. Seriously. Look at the grand scheme of things. You're bothered that I'm throwing away a box that a freaking dining table came in. Just chill out. But that's why I go to Costa, Alex. I still love Costa, though. Just don't think the managers love me. Being a traitor to Starbucks, I am, absolutely. He keeps Urmston Costa in business. That's the one I was talking about, Steve. Urmston. Yeah, they don't... there's a couple of lads in there. George likes me. Shout out to George at Urmston Costa. He's a legend. Helen's all right as well, the manager, I think. But there's this other woman who just hates me now. I don't know why she hates me. I just don't think she likes me. So, yeah. That's Costa anyway. There's all these new comments coming through. There's freaking loads of your comments coming through. What's going on here? Leah says, when's the next Bulletproof Actor, Ross? Right, Bulletproof Actor, and good evening in A. Bulletproof Actor is a program I run once a year, and it's a positive psychology program. It's no bullshit. It's science-backed positive psychology, the most in-depth, science-backed positive psychology-based mindset confidence installation program on the planet. It's the only one for actors. I basically got obsessed with positive psychology 10 years ago. I had a bit of shit in my life. Basically, it sounds so melodramatic, this. My dad died overnight of a heart attack. I basically found out I'm going blind as well. That just sounds mental, doesn't it? I'm so used to saying it, though. It's just ridiculous. Just had a few curveballs thrown at my life, and ultimately I was struggling a lot. Like, to be honest with you, I was completely fucking lost. I was working in retail for minimum wage. I'd graduated from drama school. I was getting no work. I didn't have an agent. I thought I would then have to... My mum's blind. We've got this condition in the family. So I thought, right, I've really got to step up here and, like, look after everybody, basically. And how can I do that earning minimum wage in a shop? And the last words my dad ever said to me, it's getting deep now, isn't it? Like, literally the last words my dad ever said to me was, you look after your mum. I mean, that was it. Bump. I think that was actually, no, it was it. There was nothing else. I said, look after yourself, big man. And then never saw him again. So I was struggling a lot, like really was. And a friend gave me a book on positive psychology. It kind of helped me. And I was like, oh my God, this is like really helping. Got massively, massively into it. Studied it for 10 years. Some of the greatest thought leaders in the world. And I thought this has changed my life again. I wouldn't have this business that I've got now. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. I've done pretty well out of the acts industry and the voiceover industry, online business and stuff. And I was like, I really want to pass this gift on. So I created a super in-depth course. It took me a year to produce. There's 33 videos, 5 real in-depth units. We do live coaching on it as well. And I launch it once a year because it takes over my life for 5 weeks. I mean, ask anyone who's done it on this call. We go so in depth in it. We do live calls once a week, and those live calls are 5 and 6 hours long sometimes. They get recorded so you can join them at, catch up on them if you don't want to stay up till 2 a.m. because some of them literally go that long. And I mean, it's been amazing. Took about 250 actors through it now over the last couple of years. It's transformed lives. Rachel Shenton did it last year. She won an Oscar this year. I'm not saying it's all down to Bulletproof Actor, but it definitely was. It's just been amazing. Everett Walsh is an actor. I just saw him post in the Bulletproof Actor Facebook group that we've got tonight. He was on Doctor Who last night. I mean, it's totally changing people's lives. And it's not because of me. This stuff I have learned from other people over the last decade. I've just curated it all and I take people through it all, so I can't take credit for everything. But I was going to do it in January 2019. So many people, Leah, have asked me over the last 3 months when it's coming back that I am actually going to launch it again in November. And we're going to do it before Christmas so that week 1 will start towards the end of November. And everyone who goes through the program, I aim to, if everything goes to plan, have it finished just the week before Christmas. And I love doing this. I've done this before because I love setting actors up so they can go into Christmas and you'll be completely changed. You'll be transformed through this program if you commit to it. And you'll go into Christmas so fired up and you'll start New Year like ready to run, as opposed to what most people will do is they will start New Year crawling out of a drunken, coma, going, right, oh God, right, I better get some headshots done or whatever. You'll just be on it. You'll be so ready to smash 2019. So what I always do when I launch this is I put 3 videos out first that are completely free. I put like an hour and a half worth of coaching out for free, initially over a week, and then I open up registration for Bulletproof Actor. So it shows people basically a gist of what you're going to get on the program, and then I open up the full program for people. It will be coming soon. So if you want to get on the waiting list, go to bulletproofactor.com and just press the button and put your email address and your first name in, and you will get access to register. I think maybe like 12 hours before everybody else. It won't be much sooner than that, but you'll get early access effectively. There's 2 programs. There's a self-study one you can do on your own time. You get permanent access to both of these programs, by the way, regardless of which one you do. But the self-study one, you do on your own. There's no live coaching with that. That's 197 quid, so it's still super cheap. The VIP one is 279 quid, which might sound, I get that's a lot of money, but this is 5 weeks worth of coaching. This is like, and probably around about 35 hours worth of live coaching. If you think most people go to an acting class and pay 25, 30 quid for like 2 hours, this is super, super cheap. And it will, I mean, honestly, if you invest in yourself, you've got to think 279 quid, like, okay, I might not be, can I justify that? If you're 20 or 30 or 40, I mean, 50, it doesn't matter what age you are. If you're 70 years old, let's say you've got 30 years left on the planet. If you're doing this program at 70 years old, is 279 quid worth, is living a better life for 30 years worth 279 quid? I think the answer is yes. So I make it as cheap as possible, but obviously I still have to charge for it. It's a huge part of my life when I do this program, and I give more of myself to this program than any of you lot would expect. But yeah, November is the answer. To cut long story short, bulletproofactor.com. Go check it out if you want to read about it, you want to see some testimonials, and you want to register for the early bird list. Inae's in the house. How we doing? Melissa says voiceover one was fab. Talking about the podcast again. And so timely as I'd been in a radio voiceover class. Would you recommend Gravy for the Brain? Yes, I would, Melissa. Gravy for the Brain. It's run by 2 great guys, Hugh Edwards, I know quite well, and Peter Dixon, who's the guy, who's the X Factor guy, Alexandra Buck. He's that guy. I had to do an advert similar to him the other day a little bit. They wanted me to do a little bit of Peter Dixon. I had to say, monster suspension, but not quite as that, because I'd probably be done for copyright or something like that. for a voiceover for a car, yeah. But yeah, I would recommend it. Greatforthebrain.com. They do basically what I do on Act on this. They do for the voiceover industry. What I do for actors, they do for voiceover. Very, very good. Definitely. There's Alex talking about the Starbucks going dark in the Trafford Centre. Yes, it bloody has, definitely. And James says, I think it's time you got interviewed. Do you know what? It's interesting. A few people have said that someone should interview me for a podcast. I don't know if they'd get any time to talk though, James, because I'd probably keep cutting them off. Anyone wants to interview me, do you know what? I'm going to do a podcast with Tony Rossi, who's an Acts on This viewer. He runs his own podcast in Chicago. We're going to do a podcast, so he's going to interview me for that. I'll put that in the Facebook group so you guys can hear that as well. Definitely. Gary says, what was the book? What book, Gary? Clarify, mate. I might have missed a comment. And Anae's here says, sorry I'm late, guys. Greetings all. Just dashed back from attempts at networking. Thanks to Ross for helping me get my self-confidence back. Boom. Anae is a bulletproof actor. Absolute legend. Anae, you got your confidence back. I just supplied you with the tools. So that's awesome. Really, really good. Gary says he loved Bulletproof Actor as well. Well, the thing is, a lot of people are going through it again as well. Richard Haler from Miami's in the house. He's a Bulletproof Actor as well. You get lifetime access to it. And what I'm going to do for all those people who have been through it, I'm thinking it won't be this year, and it probably won't be the first half of next year, but I am going to refilm Bulletproof Actor and add stuff to it that wasn't in the original one, because obviously my knowledge of positive psychology has grown in the last 2 or 3 years as well since producing this course. So this time, maybe next time will probably be the last time it's put out in its current form. Everybody who has bought it in the past will get an option to upgrade to the latest version of it very, very cheaply as well. It'll be 200. It'll still be probably 300 quid for everybody else. But if you've bought it in the past, I'll probably give you an upgrade option for like 50 quid. You can just get the very latest version of it if you want to do that, and then go through it again. Like, I love going through it every year when I coach it, because I forget, and I produced it. I forget some of the stuff that's in there, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. I need to start bringing that into my life again. So you'll all get an option to upgrade as well, which is cool. And so Gary says, someone gave you a book on self-development. Yes, Gary, do you know what? Might actually still have it. There was two, actually. There was one called, a Tony Robbins one, Awaken the Giant Within. Let me just turn around and get it, which is that one. Don't be intimidated by the fact that it's massive. For those who are watching live or watching the video replay, it's pretty huge. But that's a very, very good book. Anthony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. Very, very good. The one that I was actually given is this one, and I should have given this away. I've given this away, and I've got it back because I borrowed it again. This was a book that has been passed around by various people, and they've signed like in the front of it their names and stuff. This was given to me by Mark. Mark Dharma, who I mentioned in Bulletproof Actor, was probably the first mentor I ever had in my life. And it completely by accident. He just turned up in work one day. I was working at the computer game shop I worked in for minimum wage, and I was not enjoying my life, to be honest with you. I wasn't really in shape. I wasn't out of shape. I didn't have a shape. I was always hungover. I was drinking a lot. I was going out. I was partying a lot. I was running away from my life. I was having no success in anything, and I think I was just trying to escape. And I came into game one day, and Mark was just stood there demoing a Nintendo games console, but he was absolutely ripped. I mean, like, he had this T-shirt on, super tight fitted, just jacked. This, super, super great body, great mind. And I walked into the staff room on my break, and he was in there eating a protein muffin. I was like, what the hell's that? I'm eating like a cheese sandwich from Superdrug. It's like a protein muffin. I was like, what the hell is a protein muffin? And to cut a long story short, I paid him almost a month's wages of my wages at the time. I wasn't earning very much money. I was earning about £600, £700 a month for a personal training course that he didn't personally train me. He just gave me all the theory and all the exercises to do. It's a 6-week course, and it changed my life. He told me to take photographs of myself every Friday. I did. And I could see physically the big changes over 6 weeks. And I thought to myself, if I can implement the way I'm setting goals in the gym into my life and my acting career, I'm not going to be able to see it in the mirror, but I know I'm going to be able to make strides like I'm making physically. And he gave me this book, and I still got it to this day. It says, Pass This Along with Love, Mark Dharma. And it's Deepak Chopra's book. It's called 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And I'd already lent this somebody, but I hadn't written in it. I should have written in it before I passed it on. I should have wrote in it before I passed it on. And I didn't, so I've asked for it back, and I'm going to put a message in it and then send it on. And then the idea is they read it, they then write a message in it and pass it on. It's such an old book. Look how yellow that the pages are. It's got that it's got a proper old like library book kind of smell. But yeah, they were the 2 books that set me off on the journey, Gary. Man, honestly, they're really good. Pop them back. That back on there. Ugh. I can't do it. Pop you up there, Tony. Can't do it. Wouldn't fit in. I've got quite a lot of books now. Reading changed my life. Reading's good. Get audiobooks as well. If you can't be arsed reading, read audiobooks. Listen to podcasts. Yeah, you'll love it. Rich is here. He says, I recommend Bulletproof Actor. Thank you, Rich. I might be asking some people to do some video testimonials for me. Do some new video testimonials. If you want to do one, anyone who's on here who's been a Bulletproof Actor, done it, give us a video testimonial. That would really be appreciated. So that's that. What time are we on? Freaking hell, it's nearly home time. We're nearly done for the night. Other things, so future podcasts, by the way, just give you a heads up of other podcasts that I'm doing, right? Just so you know what's coming on ActsOnThis.tv as well. I texted Julie Hesmond-House yesterday. You'll know her as playing Hayley in Coronation Street. She then went on to do some incredible stuff. She was in Broadchurch. She's now in Doctor Who. One of the loveliest ladies in the acting, well, just in life, you know. The woman is incredible. She's doing a podcast with us probably next week. So we're going to have her on. We've got Archie Purnell, another agent from Jamie Lomas Associates, coming on to talk again about, I just want to bring more agents on. More agents, the better, so that you guys can hear from each one. So when you're approaching these agents, like, you've got something to say. Archie's going to come on, he's the head agent at Jamie Lomas Associates. Jamie Lomas, obviously, very successful actor. He's going to be on the podcast as well at some point. Went to see him a couple of weeks ago. You know him from Hollyoaks. He's been in and out of that for many, many years. Done some great stuff in America as well now. Joe Tracini, an ex-Hollyoaks actor, was in EastEnders as well. You'll see him recently doing some incredible comedy sketches on Twitter with lots of ex-Hollyoaks cast. They've been getting like close to 1 million hits, I think. He's been speaking very openly recently. Cy Barton, good evening. Joe's been speaking really openly about mental health in the acting industry and his brushes with suicide, and, you know, just living with mental health problems. And I think the industry's really embracing the talk of mental health. There's a whole reason I created Bulletproof Actor. You know, it's called Bulletproof Actor, but it's all about mental health. You know, calling it mental health actor, it's just not as sexy as calling it Bulletproof Actor. So for commercials reasons, you know, I never used the words mental health, but ultimately that's what it's about. It's about mastering your mental health. That's what the whole program's about. That's what it's helped me do. It doesn't mean that you become invincible, as you still have battles every day with various things, but you just know how to deal with it. You are equipped with tools to help you deal with, you know, the shit that life throws at you. So Joe's going to come on the podcast and talk a lot about that, which I just think is awesome. That's just going to be really open, brave, honest conversations. Hopefully get more people talking about mental health. Dan Ryan is coming back on the podcast. You'll know him from Mount Pleasant, you know, from Home Fires. He's just filming something called The Bay in Manchester at the moment, over in, it's set in Manchester and Morecambe, a drama about Morecambe Bay. He's coming on for a podcast. Got Danny Miller. I said he'll do a podcast with me. You know him as Aaron from Emmerdale. Got married to Robert on Emmerdale just last week. He's coming on for a podcast. Got so many people, basically, and you'll get access to all of them if you get yourself a premium membership on the site ActsOnThis.tv. Like I say, it's £7.50 a month if you pay it for a year up front, or it's a tenner a month if you just want to go monthly. Don't lock you into any membership. I hate it when people do that. I know it's like to be an actor. Like I say, spoke about it tonight. Started off with no money. I understand what it's like when you don't have loads of money. So if you want to just sign up for a month and listen to as much as you can in a month and then quit for a month, quit for 3 months, come back, you know, later on in the year, it's totally up to you. Don't lock anyone into anything. But ActsOnThis.tv, you'll get access to everything that's on there now, like dozens and dozens of hours of stuff on there already, with the biggest casting directors in the country in TV, biggest actors, writers, producers, exec producers, so many people on there. Plus all of that stuff as well in the future. And that stuff's like happening within the next 2 months. That's not like way in the future. There's going to be like 6 or 7 things in the next couple of months. Alex is saying, I've served him in River Island a few times. He's a really nice guy. Oh, Joe Tracini. Or is it Tracini? I don't know how he says his name. But it's Joe Pasquale's son. Awesome guy. James says, can I borrow it? What do you want to borrow, James? The book? Oh, you can borrow it after the guy I'm giving it to has had it. Yeah, if you want it. If you're around Manchester, man, come for a brew. Definitely lend you the book. It's no problem. But you have it. But then the idea is you pass it to somebody else. So we have a ripple effect. Awesome. Guys, you're incredible. We've overrun a couple of minutes. Cheers. God, it's been good, hasn't it? We spoke about loads. There's still loads more I want to talk about, but we'll do that next Monday. Going to be live next Monday night, again, 9 p.m. UK time. If I can help you with anything in the meantime, come and join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/ActsOnThisTV. Get a premium membership on actsonthis.tv, the main website. That's going to change your life. And please go and watch on it's in the Facebook group, but it's also on the Acts on This page as well. Go and watch the video I put out today on getting out of a rut. If you feel like you're stuck in a rut and, you just treading water, you don't feel like you're getting anywhere in an area of your life, any area, it could be physicality, it could be your relationship, it could be your acting career. You might not be an actor and you're watching, you've stumbled across this by accident and you just, I don't know, a baker or a plumber, it doesn't matter, you might be stuck in a rut. If you feel like you are, don't panic. Very, very easy way to get out of it. I share it in this video. It's 5.5, 6 minutes long, but I promise you it will help you. So if you go to the Acts on This Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ActsOnThisTV, it's also in the Facebook group as well, facebook.com/groups/ActsOnThisTV. It's there. And if you listen on the audio experience, find it further down the feed. I don't know when you're going to be listening to this on the podcast, but go find it in the video section on the Facebook page. Probably is the easiest place to go. I think it's going to help you. I love producing videos like that. Please share it. It would mean the world. I just want to try and... Sounds cheesy as fuck, doesn't it? But I want to... I genuinely want to inspire people to make that small positive change in their life this week, because I know from my own experience that it's not the big decisions in your life that have the biggest impact. It's the consistently good small decisions that you make compounded over time that have the biggest impact. There's a book by a guy called Jeff Olson called The Slight Edge. Go and read it. It'll tell you all about that. And Gary's got Deepak's book on audiobook. Nice work, Gary. Good stuff. Jay Jr.'s in the house. Thanks so much. Roy says, so inspiring as always. Thank you, Jay, for joining us, mate. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Steve. Emotional it has been. He said, so emotional. I'm just going to head over to the Facebook page now, so I won't be able to see any more comments on Facebook. Unfortunately, guys, if you're leaving them, I can't see you anymore. I just have to do this every time to end the broadcast. But as always, thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it. Please share that video I talked about on getting out of a rut. That will mean the world. If I can help you with anything, drop me a tweet at ActsOnThisTV. My personal Twitter is at Ross A. Grant. It's the same on Instagram as well. And you can always reach out to me via email. It's ross@actsonthis.tv. Until next time, have a fantastic week. Expect good things to happen this week. It's only Monday. 4 days of the week left, right? Go into tomorrow choosing your attitude. Don't allow the world to choose it for you. All right? With that, enjoy yourselves. Love to you all. Bye for now.